So at 12:42, he tests positive for alcohol, and then at 12:47, he tests negative for alcohol. Am I right?
All right, folks, buckle up. This isn't your average courtroom debate. We're diving into the battle of man versus machine. Can a gadget strapped to your ankle really decide your guilt? Let's find out.
In this gripping two-day courtroom battle, Judge Fleischer presides over a heated debate involving a SCRAM device, a type of alcohol-detecting ankle monitor that checks sobriety through sweat every 30 minutes. But what happens when the device reports a violation and a lab test says otherwise? Tensions rise as the defense challenges the accuracy of the SCRAM system, while the prosecution demands answers. Even the judge admits these devices can be unreliable. Is this cutting-edge tech truly effective, or just a faulty piece of evidence in disguise? Watch the drama unfold and decide for yourself. Are SCRAM devices trustworthy?
And here's where it gets real. Mr. Aking Pelu's defense isn't just saying the machine might be wrong. They're calling the entire system into question. So here's a thought. If one faulty reading could land someone in jail, how reliable should this tech really be?
Could they be sending innocent people back to jail? Or is this just a rare case of technical error? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss a moment from inside America's courtrooms.
So, Mr. Evans, Mr. Aking Pelu has bond violations that he is
drinking, and tampering. However, I have great suspicions about the integrity of these tests, because the last time he was adamant, but we didn't have any proof. This time, they alleged an allegation on the 7th. The 7th was the first day you had him coming in to test. So he was in court that entire time. He tested that day. However, they said he tampered and had alcohol in his system at 11, but at 1:30, he receives a text that's saying that he passed. So I don't know. We've had a lot of clients in here. I don't know many people who drink while in court on the day of. So I think the record would show that from your test that you had them do on the 7th. So
he didn't show up until after like 12:30 that day.
But he still tested that day.
Regarding that, I did reach out because I did notice that for the violation, he was at 49 getting tested during the time, and I obtained the SCRAM report. I can of course send it over to you as well. I had one of my supervisors look over it again due to the discrepancy there.
Pause for a second. Did you catch that? The device showed a low spike, possibly from hand sanitizer. If alcohol can be detected from environmental exposure, how is that not a massive design flaw? Sound off in the comments. Would you trust a machine that can't tell the difference between vodka and Purell?
It does show multiple tampers themselves, but for the tampers that detected alcohol but not confirmed its consumption, it's very much believed that it could possibly be an environmental factor while he was at 49, either due to hand sanitizer or something of the sort, because they're very low spikes that come back down very quickly. But I don't know.
So all the violations at the time that he was at pretrial?
Yes, so not all of them, just the one that was most recently filed on him for 11/7. Is whenever he was at pretrial.
What I'm saying is the exact same wording and violation on 11/7. He's at pretrial is the exact one that he got that brought us into this situation that made him have to test so much. So if we cannot trust the one that happened on 11/7,
the other violations,
how can we trust that violation?
I only saw one submitted for that one. Is there more that we haven't addressed?
I don't know. I mean, I thought there were.
So we had a previous one. I believe it was for his GPA. Let me check.
It was another one. So it was another one in October. Said he tampered, tested for alcohol, then he disappeared. You remember I said I don't understand how that happens. So then he gets the exact same one, and luckily he was at San Jacinto tampering. It disappears. So if that one is bad, I believe the previous one was bad. Now, he did come in late 7 minutes. That was his only other violation. And we understand that it's bad. But in regards to these two tamperings, we cannot trust the 11-7 one. I don't think we can trust the other one. And for that
And it
reason,
says here, a
Yes.
tamper event occurred on 10/29/24 at 2:25 PM. Alcohol was detected. They couldn't confirm because of the nature of the tamper, right?
right.
So the one thing with that one, however, is I also obtained the SCRAM report, and I believe I sent that one over to you. I'll double check. If not, I'll send it over again. And that one showed like a high level spike with a dissipation. And the discrepancy with the one on 11/7 is that it's a very short bump that comes down very quickly. The other one showed more accuracy of alcohol, that wasn't deemed to be a possible environmental factor, or
So you're saying the 10/29 could have been environmental then?
I believe so. I don't,
And he tested, and that's the day that he blew earlier that day. Or he did something earlier that day in regards to testing.
We don't.
Let's talk legal implications. In court, evidence must be reliable. If the SCRAM device can't consistently confirm alcohol consumption versus interference, its credibility is toast. Remember, it's not about proving guilt. It's about proving it beyond a reasonable doubt.
We don't have evidence of that.
What I'm
Like
saying,
if you do, I mean,
I think they checked it that day. I think it was something he had to do for the other case. But what I'm saying in regards to all these, if we were in court, the integrity of these machines are in question. I don't know if he has a malfunctioning one, but I don't see how we can rely on this SCRAM device if it is saying that almost the exact same thing. She's saying the levels are a little higher or lower. It dissipated. However, I was told that alcohol stays in your system for a period of time and levels off. So I don't know how it can dissipate within seconds, even if it went higher or lower. And if it was higher on that day,
so if you have something in environmental, like let's say he puts sanitizer on his hands and it drips to the leg, right?
Mm-hmm.
The spike would be just thousands. It would be just astronomical. So we know that there's no possible way it could be alcohol. But when they're small, then it's more the reality that it could be alcohol. But the problem is that the device is supposed to stay on the legs to confirm. And when you have a tamper as such that you can't confirm, therein lies the problem. Because we have, I mean, I understand what you're saying about the integrity of the machine, but if every single time we have someone that's tampering with it so that we can't get an accurate result, there's a problem. And I can't believe that every single one of those times, there's not a true tamper, because it can't just continue to happen and we can't get a true and accurate reading because of something that's, forbidding it from happening.
Yeah, and sometimes it can be the shoes. Like I talked very thoroughly with my supervisor today about it, just because I was confused over the matter as well. And like if you're wearing boots, it can also affect that. But the thing is, they're very thoroughly instructed, and he reports to pretrial very often, so he should be aware of all of the things that he's not allowed to do in order to tamper with it. Because even this most recent tamper where the alcohol was alleged there, that may have been an environmental factor, but it is a definite confirmed tamper. So even if it wasn't intentional, it's still showing a tamper. So I don't know if he maybe had his pants tucked in under the device, but I mean, that's why he keeps getting the PPRs.
Something is preventing the machine from doing what it's supposed to do. Mr. Evans.
If he wants to report to pretrial and have it checked out, maybe to what's today, Wednesday, tomorrow, whenever he does his drug test, I can make him an appointment for that. But that's, I mean.
But my position is this: we're here to try to make sure he's not drinking, and I understand that's very important. I agree with, and I know how the judge feels about drinking and driving. However, the day that he's in court testing, you had him do a urine test that same exact day, and they're saying alcohol on that day was a small spike. However, the alcohol on the 29th was a larger spike, and each one dissipated quickly, which means the only way you can know it dissipated is you would have to be able to test afterwards. I'm just saying, other than in a civil court or criminal court, the integrity of this machine.
Now we're back in session. And here comes the twist. The judge wants every single test result laid out on the table. Why? Because pattern matters. If inconsistencies start stacking up, the case against Mr. Pellu could unravel faster than courtroom decorum on a Friday afternoon.
Would be in question. And now
Let's do this. Let's do this. He's due back for a test tomorrow, right? So let's do this. Let's regroup tomorrow. Can you get me a full report of every single test that he's done?
Yes, Judge.
Every single number that you've been able to actually capture, okay? Every single tamper that you have, and I want a complete list of every single event that's happened.
Yes, Judge.
And then we'll get a copy to Mr. Evans, and then we'll talk to Mr. Akingpelu about it tomorrow,
Yes, Judge.
you know? How about that? Because I don't have any paperwork in front of me, so I know how
I
many
understand.
events there have been, and that's really the only way that we should be even going forward is to get a full and complete picture.
And that's what I was asking for an email.
So,
Asking for you just to
Let's do that,
investigate.
and then he's supposed to be here tomorrow, so if you can just advise him to come earlier than 12:30, that would really help everyone, you know?
Okay, I will
And
do
then
that.
we'll regroup tomorrow.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
Let's plan maybe like 11 o'clock. Is that okay, Mr. Evans?
That's fine.
Yeah, okay, we'll do that.
All right, thank y'all.
Okay, thanks, bud.
The next day,
I think so.
Tell me,
This is in regard to.
what's the word, Thunderbird?
I got somebody's phone. Is this your phone?
Akingpelu, come up.
Thank you. I'm sorry.
Everybody, please, just keep it down.
Your phone number.
You know, guys, we're talking about Akingpelu.
And here's the final gut punch. Mr. Pellu was ordered not to drink or drive. That's it. But if he tests clean in person and fails on the SCRAM device just an hour apart, are we dealing with a relapse or a glitch in the matrix? Justice shouldn't be a guessing game.